This is Season 7 of the Team Roping Journal's podcast, The Score, the show that started it all in the whole podcasting game in team roping and rodeo. At 3 million downloads and counting, this is where team ropers talk, from our weekly short score episodes to the longer sit-down conversations that we get to have that dive deep into the personalities, producers, and horses that inspire the sport. This is where team ropers get their must-know information. Hey everyone, this is Chelsea Schaefer. Welcome back to The Score. I feel like it's been a while, but I promise it's getting ready to be summer, so we will be back in pretty regular recording action here from here on out for the rest of the summer run. So today I wanted to wrap up the Women's Rodeo World Championships with two of my most favorite cowgirls of all time. That's Kenna Francis and Whitney DeSalvo. I posted on Facebook the congratulations to the home team because anytime anybody from the Mathews Land and Cattle Crew wins something, it sure feels like somebody from inside the family just won. Chris and Kenna and Kate and Kirsty, they put on a bunch of ropings throughout the year with us. It's a blast. We have a lot of fun when they're running the office, when they're running the cattle crews. These guys are like family. And so watching Kenna win was amazing. I wish I had been there in person, but we had lots of crew there. Casey and Lillian, who are on our very fabulous team, were working at the Women's Rodeo World Championship inside AT&T Stadium. Absolutely an unbelievable place for these ladies to rope, and they won $60,000. Kenna's going to tell you she thinks she won $71,000 over the week. Whitney, however, won about $84,000 in the time that she was in Fort Worth from Arkansas, which was about a week long, where all the different places that she placed and all the money that she won. So I called them on Sunday morning. We caught up and we found out a little bit about how their week went, about the horses that they rode, kind of about the state of women's team roping right now. These two, unbelievable. Enjoy. Today's episode of The Score is brought to you by Cactus Ropes. If you go to cactusropes.com right now, you can get free shipping on all orders over $250. Check them out at cactusropes.com or call 1-800-SPIN-WIN. That is 1-800-SPIN-WIN. Congratulations, Kenna. Is it real?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What? I did, because I wasn't there. What call did you guys go? Were you last out?
No, we were first out, we were third coming in, yep.
Oh, okay. So how much, do you know how much you won throughout the week, too?
I think in total we won like $71,000.
Holy cow.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you know that steer?
We did know that steer. They let us, we could draft the last three steers. So all three of the teams picked the last three steers that we roped. Yep. And that steer had been good all week. Same pattern all week long.
Yeah. And Gangster, remind me, or anybody that doesn't know, like, what was how did you evolve into riding Gangster?
So we got Gangster from Caleb Driggers. They rodeoed on him. He's been all over the country. He's an amazing horse. And he had gotten home last summer and he said that they were done rodeoing on him. He didn't want to sell it to anybody that was going to still go hard, go down the road. He didn't feel like Gangster deserved that. And with Chris and Caleb's relationship, I was like, I'll take Gangster. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to World Series a little bit. And this is really the only rodeo kind of setup that we go to. And that's how Gangster came along.
Okay. So I feel like we have to unpack Caleb Driggers' heart there, because Caleb is kind of a tough guy, and I don't know that he gets the credit for like having the big heart that he does, but he has a soft spot for horses, so we have to give Caleb a little credit there. That was pretty nice.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I told Chris last night when it was over, I needed to text him and tell him, thank you for allowing me to own this horse because he is so amazing.
That's awesome. And what's he like Caleb rode him. I was looking back through old stories and it said like he was 3.6 somewhere over the forest last year on him, or maybe the year before. But he let you do what you needed to do without question all week. So what's that horse like? Tell me about him.
Oh, he is by far one of the easiest horses I've ever ridden. He scores every single time. He never takes a throw away from you, and he never ever gets quick. He always goes to the steer every time you ride him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's never going to take your rope, and he's never going to duck, and he's going to score every time. He's to be 19 years old and to have been rodeoed on as much as he has, he is amazingly honest.
And I pulled up his papers late last night, and he's like all Peppy Sandbadger. Like, there's not a lot of run on his papers, or I guess from first glance at them. But he seems plenty fast enough for you, right? Oh,
absolutely. He's definitely fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems fast enough. But Chris sneaks rides on him sometimes?
He does. He snuck a ride at Guyman. They made it back to Guyman. Kate got a leg in the short round, but I think he's going to ride him at a few of the smaller or bigger rodeos, the smaller scores, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a horse for those long score deals, but I think he's going to ride him at some of the big rodeos this summer. I mean, and they don't go all the time, so it'll be perfect.
And Whitney's kind of been, well, she's been a partner of yours for a while, but she's been around Las Vegas, New Mexico here and there for a while now. She's kind of come into the fold with Mathews Landing Cattle a little bit.
Oh yeah, she comes to some of their opens. She came last summer and stayed with us, helped us break in steers, but her and Maddie both come and they work their opens, and it's been good.
And Chris wasn't there the whole week. Chris was putting on a roping. And then did he just show up for the last round, come for the glory, or what happened there?
Yeah, he did. Well, we started early because we started last Saturday with the Cowgirl Gathering.
Yeah.
And so Mathews Landing Cattle produced her open. It's called the Rustin Baldwin Memorial. And so he had to stay, do that, get that done. And then he broke in steers all week because we have one of the biggest World Series qualifiers coming up. We'll leave on Tuesday in San Antonio. So he had lots to get done, but he said, I'm not missing it if you guys make it to AT&T. So he drove in Friday morning.
Gotcha. And where was Karsten? Like I said, because I wasn't there, the other girls were there. Where was she hanging out watching?
Last night?
Yeah.
So during the day, she got to go down there. She rode her horse all over AT&T Stadium. She was so excited. But then during the actual event, she stayed with my mom in the stands because they were only 18 and under couldn't come back on the arena floor.
Gotcha.
So she had to hang out with my mom.
What'd she say? Did she have any words of excitement or wisdom beforehand or excitement afterwards?
Oh, she was super excited. She called me and she was yelling in the phone, and yeah, she was really excited. I think she's probably our biggest fan.
That's awesome. What was your first reaction when the third girl went, or the third team went? What were you thinking? Like, holy cow, or?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I was sad for Bev. She curled the front leg right there, but it's pretty exciting.
It was a pretty cool set of girls to make it back and compete against, too. Like, it was you were amongst the elite, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. All three of those teams. Megan Head's awesome. Everybody ropes so good these days. It's never just catch the steer and you win anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's next on the schedule for you? Are you just putting on ropens for the next couple months, or are you going to go anywhere big?
We go to San Antonio. That's one of the biggest ropens of the year for us. I'll just work. I'm going to go to Cheyenne to the open.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my next outing when I don't work.
No Reno? You're not going to go to Reno?
I am going to Reno. I got to work Reno.
You and me both. We'll be there.
Huh?
Said you and me both. We'll be there.
I'll be there. I don't know. It just kind of depends on when Chris and Kate get up there.
Yeah.
If it falls in line where I can rope, it'll be good. Because if not, I have to be out there for like 7 or 8 days, and I don't really
preach.
Have to fly and have to take a horse. I don't know. We'll just see.
Preach. I get it.
I know Whitney's not going to Reno, so I don't know.
I gotcha. Well, very good, ma'am. I appreciate the time. I'm going to wake Whitney's butt up and call her right now and make her talk to me.
Good luck to you.
I know. Well, I guess be safe going to San Antonio, and we'll see you soon, in Reno at least.
Okay.
Okay,
good.
bye.
Bye.
We're going to take a quick break in between our interview with Kenna and with Whitney to tell you about the rope that won the Women's Rodeo World Championships on both ends, and that is the Future. It is in the Relentless line of ropes by Cactus. The Future is a bright blue rope that is sure to change the game of roping, and by my judgment, it already has. Cactus used a new manufacturing technology combined with a year of input from the king of the cowboys, Trevor Brazil, to create the Future. The unique weight distribution creates perfect balance throughout the rope with an extremely identifiable tip. It's got friendly shelf life that is an added bonus. It was hot as all get out in Texas this week while the women were dueling it out between the Cowtown Coliseum and AT&T Stadium. They were going in and out of a lot of different humidities, a lot of different temperatures, and those ropes stayed true. So check it out. You can order right now at cactusropes.com. $250 order gets free shipping. You can get yourself some boots. You can get yourself some gear. Anything from the Relentless line, anything from the Cactus Ropes line. Check it out, cactusropes.com. Give them a call. They will help you out at 1-800-SPIN-WIN. Well, Whit, you had a huge week. I mean, we've already written a lot about it, but where did it start? What was the start of this last 7 days or so that's made you quite a bit of money?
Well, we started at the Cowgirl Gathering, and I went over there. I heeled in it. It was pick one, draw one, and I came back first and second high call at that roping, and I won the roping with my second high call partner. It was a draw partner, and I missed high call for Kaylin Helton to win first and second. And I hate to admit this, but my high team, or the girl I won the roping with, was an extra, and I didn't pay for it.
Was this your first time? First time you'd been to a roping before? Or
Well, man, I just didn't. So I drew a couple extras, and I had a bunch of, like, I see my list, and I just had a bunch of runs right there. I just didn't pay attention to the like where it showed who my extras were. I just looked at my numbers, and after the first round, I got to look at it, and I was like, gosh dang, that girl. Her name is Canely Dale. She's from like around Millsap, I think, and I was like, dang, she ropes good. And I was like, gosh dang it, that was an extra. And it was after the first one I knew I messed up. And then we turn around, we go 13-5 on 2. And come back, and we're short 21. We end up being 28 on 4 and won the roping by like 2 or 3 seconds. And it was an extra. So I got half the money right there, which I'm grateful for. But, you know, I cost myself $5,000 because I didn't pay attention. But that started the week off. And then we started at Cowtown for the first and second rounds of the WCRA. I headed for Kelsey and heeled for Kenna, and I placed first and third in the first round, won the second round, and then our wheels kind of fell off our bus in the third round, and then we kind of climbed out of the hole and made it all the way till last night at AT&T.
Yeah. What's it like heeling behind Kenna and Gangster? That's a real deal head horse that Kenna's on, and Kenna certainly heads like a real deal header. What's the handle like?
Man, it's easy. That horse is very easy to heel behind. I've heeled behind him a lot since she's had him, and she always does a good job. Like when I rope with her, every time we back in the box, all I worry about is myself, because I know I'm going to get to throw my rope every time, and I'm going to get to throw my rope for good money. So it honestly, it's a lot of pressure at times, but most of the time it's just like, go do your job and you're going to win when you're up with her. So.
And what horse were you on?
I was actually on a horse that we call Tina. I've had her since January. Kevin Poteet owns her, actually, and he's been one of my really, really good friends for a long time. He lives in South Texas now. We actually grew up in the same hometown in Arkansas, and he come home to visit his parents one week, and we were eating lunch, and he was like, "I think I'm going to give you Tina." And I said, "What do you mean you're going to give me Tina?" And he's like, "I'm just going to give her to you." And I was like, "Okay." Well, she'd been turned out for a year. She has some soundness issues. She's got a really big right front. Her knee is huge, and she has arthritis problems in her hocks. And his vet told him to turn her out. That she's basically probably just going to be done. And he turned her out for a year, and he was like, "She's just doing really good. I think if your vet can look at her and keep her sound, you can have her." So he just gave her to me in January, and I took her to Jackie Myers at Outlaw in Louisiana, and she was like, "I think I can keep her sound enough for you to haul her just a handful of places here and there throughout the year, like don't ride her wheels off." And so I've hauled her about 5 places this year, and I rode her all week this week.
That's awesome. Is Becky around still, or is Becky done?
Oh, yeah. Nope, Becky's good. Becky, since I got this horse and that young horse, that Rango horse I rode at the BFI, I gave Becky a much-deserved break because she's not had one in, the 7 years that I've been riding her.
I was going to say, I was looking up art, because last night I was trying to figure out who you rode, and I was looking up pictures of Becky, trying to compare, and that article that we wrote on her the first time was from 2017, so I figured it's been at least since then that you were riding her.
I hold her, I think the end of 2016 is when I bought her. She was 5 years old, and I took her to Reno that year for the first time, and she's been my number one. And I was on her at the Cowgirl Gathering. That's what I won the Cowgirl Gathering on, was her. I don't know, something just made me want to ride the Tina horse over there all week. She's really free rolling. She gets me up and around him. I feel like I throw a lot faster on that horse than sometimes, like in those little buildings. Mine gets a little cowy and kind of gets to the inside a little bit. So I just chose her all week, and it worked. My plan was to ride her on the first one, and if it went good, I was going to stay on her. And if it felt like I was getting too far up and around them or whatever for that building, I was going to get on Becky. But I was catching, so I just left it. Yeah.
And of course we wrote about it this week, and I've written about it a million times, but you also got to head on Yahtzee. Tell me about your heading this week. I mean, it started out great, at least.
Yeah. So, Maddie, thankfully let me bum a ride on Yahtzee. And, we went the first round. We went 6-1. Kelsey did all the work. I just caught the cow, and we won the first round. Well, then we turned around we had a pretty strong one. We run our second steer. We look up. We go 5-8 or 5-9, and we end up winning the second round. I'm like, holy crap, we're on a roll. Well, then, like I said earlier, the wheels fell off on the third one, but I thought we could have drawn a little better. But that's part of it. Our steer I headed him. Our steer kind of ducked behind the head horse a little bit, and Kelsey didn't really have a shot to throw a rope, and it just kind of was a disaster from there. If anything goes left or goes behind your head horse in that building, I feel like you're a little screwed anyway. And
yeah, for sure.
So, it just wasn't in the cards for us, but we did. We got 2 go-round buckles. I have 2 heading buckles.
Yeah.
Now.
Cowgirl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was fun. Rode with Kelsey so much fun. Like, I feel like we kind of both have the same energy. Like we want to go. Like we're gonna go try to win first every time. So it was fun.
Yeah, doing anything with Kelsey's a lot of fun. She's a riot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Well, tell me about you and the Francises have been spending quite a bit of time together. I mean, you're in Arkansas now, but you kind of hung out with the Mathews Land and Cattle crew quite a bit. What's the relationship there like?
Well, probably 3 years ago or so, I started roping with Kenna at the All Girls, and we started roping at the World Series and stuff a little bit, and they asked me, for whatever reason, I don't know if they were just desperate or what, for me to, if I wanted to start working some of their ropings in the office. And I was like, I've never worked in an office in my life at a roping, but I'll try. And I'm not saying I'm very good at it, but I do work in the office at a handful of their ropings a year, and I work their office at Vegas outside. And I started doing that, and then when I moved from where I was living in South Arkansas in Wilmer, I moved from there, and it was going to be a couple months before I moved into the place I'm at now, and so I just packed my stuff, and they invited me to come stay in New Mexico for the summer last summer, and I lived down there with them for probably 2 or 3 months, and worked for Chris and Cade and Oren, and it's pretty fun. They're a lot of fun to be around, and they're really good at what they do. They have an awesome thing going with the roping, and it's pretty cool to see like how they do all the steers. Like, it's all their own steers, and they break them all in themselves. It's just Chris and Cade. It's not a big production. It's just it's all of them together. Chris, Cade, Kenna, Kirsty, Oren. It's just them 5 right there run the whole show. So
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, they're my dream team to go work a roping with. It's such a treat whenever we get to go put on a roping together, and we're kind of both are all in the trenches together. They're like they're an awesome group. Like, unless you've been with them like you have, you don't understand like all the work that they do and everything they're willing to do to make it all magical. If you can call team roping magical.
Like, people don't realize, like, they have pretty much everything like right there. Like Chris takes care of. Obviously they have crews that work for him, but like, I mean, he watches over the cows and sorts all day long. They have the same couple guys that work all their ropings that flag for them. Kate announces everything, and Kirsty and Kenna run the office. Like, I mean, it's just, everybody's just right there. Like, they all run it. It's pretty cool to watch. It's not it's definitely a lot of work that goes into it. A lot more than people think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the first time I heard Cade announce, I had no idea. Like, I knew he announced, but I didn't know. Like, I thought it was Farron or somebody. And then, like, there's just because Cade's announcer voice and Cade's personality are so different that, like, I don't know, I love it.
Yeah, I never knew. I probably went to 2 of their ropings and never knew that was Cade even up there.
Yeah.
I don't even think, I didn't even realize, I think the very first roping I worked, I think he announced the whole roping before I realized it was him up there announcing.
Yeah, people don't realize that it's him most of the time, I think.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. Whitney, what's left on your list of goals? I mean, I don't want to say that you've won everything there is to win as far as the all-girl stuff. And every year I feel like when we interview you about something, we kind of talk about this. But what do you have going next, and what's on the bucket list?
Man, I really don't know. I usually have stuff wrote down, and I usually have a plan, but I've kind of thrown plans out the window recently because I've started kind of my business over here where I moved to, and I've been trying to get it up and going, and obviously I'm still working on my roping every day, and it's what I want to do, but I've been putting my focus into that, but I've always wanted to think about leaning more towards the rodeo stuff. And summer before last, I circuit radioed all summer and tried to make circuit finals. I did make them, and I kind of reevaluated my roping quite a bit and realized what I need to work on here and there. And I really took, last summer was just a roller coaster of moving and starting stuff. I mean, that a little bit of a hiatus from the rodeos, but now I think this summer I'm going to try to put what I've been working on and go back and see what I can see if it's any better than it was.
Well, can you tell us what have you been working on? Like, what's been the focus?
Just not panicking whenever stuff goes fast. I feel like I really, I feel like I found a lot of holes in my roping whenever I went out there all summer and we weren't getting to practice a bunch, and it was just go to these rodeos. I didn't jackpot hardly any. I only went to the rodeos, and it's definitely like how those guys say it is. And I just went to the circuit rodeos. I didn't go all year long like they do, and it's definitely how they say it is. It's easy to get in a rut and not be able to go anywhere and fix it. And
Yeah,
like it is more like it takes a lot more mental toughness than people think. It's a lot of mental stuff that goes on out there, I feel like, than anything. But just working on that, and better horse position, and I changed some stuff with my swing, and honestly where I watch the cow at, and just stuff like that.
Where did you watch the cow, and where are you watching now?
I used to watch the hips all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out, like, whenever I started doing those lessons all the time, I don't know at what point I got to where I didn't watch. I watched the head rope. I watched the head rope go on, and I started watching the head rope go on so much that at some point I just realized, like, when do I start watching the feet? Like, or the hips, like, when do I switch my eyes from the head rope to and I got to thinking about it in roping. I'm like, I don't know that I do until second or third jump. Like, I got so, like, zoned in on watching the head rope for some reason that I got to where I wasn't even looking at the steer's feet until, like, they were done turned. I could never figure out why I wasn't in a spot, like, I wasn't very consistent, like, to heel the steers fast, because I was at one time, and then I lost it, and I didn't know where it was, and then it hit me one day, hit me dead in the face one day. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even think I watched the steer's feet until, like, the third jump, so I don't know what, I was just glazed over, I guess, but I just, like, clean slate, started watching, like, leave the box, watch the steer's feet, obviously peripheral, you can see the head rope going a little bit, but I just did that for months until I could figure out, like, get my confidence back, my focus back, really. But I think I was so scared of the head rope going on and me being late that I was just, like, watching it in a hurry, and then it just fell apart.
And Kenna said that steer, speaking of all of that, Kenna said the steer on or last night had a very predictable pattern. That's the steer y'all drafted. What were you hooked in? Were you very much watching that steer's feet?
Oh yeah. I even was telling myself, like, I kind of thought about it whenever I was riding in. I've gotten to where, like, I tell myself a couple things in my head as I ride the box, just trying to, like I said, remain focused on my job. And as I rode in, I was just telling myself, like, watch the feet. And, like, I told Kenna, and I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but, like, there were so many people in there, and it was so loud, and it was definitely top 3 coolest things I've ever done in my life. And I was not even the least bit nervous. Like I usually I'll get nervous. I'll forget what I'm supposed to do. I'll just kind of glaze over. And I was honestly, like, I just told myself, watch the feet, backed in there. Everything was calm. Like, it felt, I mean, I don't really know. I guess it was just meant to work out, because I just had zero nerves, watch the feet, do my job, and it worked out.
Nice. And for Mr. Barry Berg, what heel rope were you using?
It was the Future medium soft, a full size Future this time. I'm getting a little stronger, so finally so. I went up from the lights. He'll be proud. He will be proud.
Very good. Well, Whitney, you drive safe back to Arkansas. I appreciate it. Thank you, as always, to our sponsors at Cactus Ropes. Cactus makes so many episodes of The Score possible throughout the year, as they have for going on 8 years now, and we sure appreciate them. We appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast, and of course we appreciate the pros like Ken and Whitney who make the time to visit with us every chance they can. So thank you all, and we will talk to you again in another week.